Good evening all and welcome to another video on All How There. It's Sunday night, which means it's trad beer night, and the beer we're going for is this one. It is Saltaire's Triple Chocolate Stout, and it weighs in at 4.8% ABV, and it describes itself as an indulgent chocolate stout. And on the back it says that it is internationally acclaimed. This Moorish dark beer complements English fuggle hops with rich chocolate decadence. It's got a little bit of info on your allergens, which are barley, oats, and wheat. And that is pretty much it, other than that there's 2.4 units in this bottle, and it's available in Morrison's on the usual bottle deals, which is about 4 for £6 or something of that ilk. Otherwise, about 180 a bottle. So, I think it's about my third, maybe fourth beer from Saltaire. Not had their stouts before, and I haven't had a stout in a while, to be fair, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, let's get it out into a glass and see what we think. Yeah, let's do that right now. I'm not going to talk about the artwork on the bottle. We'll do that later. Do that when we round up. So we're going to pour it into my Titanic goblet glass. The pour is dark. It's pouring with a bit of conviction. See if we can generate a bit of a head. I don't want to fill the glass. That will do. So we have a jet black beer. It is jet black. There's nothing coming through. We've just got a hint of mahogany as the base of the glass meets the stem. You've got an off-white, almost tan head that's pretty tight and compact. That's your beer in a glass. It's a great looking stout. It looks exactly like a stout should. You know, it's dark. It's got a good head on it. It's pretty viscous as you roll it around the glass. You can see the beer comes to a level very quickly, and you've got a nice kind of lacing action on the head as it settles back down. It's great. So, let's have a whiff. It's chocolatey. There is no doubt there is chocolate in there. It's like a cocoa type chocolate, not sweet milk chocolate. It's quite dark, it's bittersweet. It's malty. Almost perfumey as well as it comes towards the back end of your nose. That really does smell quite nice. It does. The hops are there. They're slightly bitter on the nose, and there is a little bit of a fruitiness going on as well. But the chocolate, like I say, bittersweet, sort of cocoa-like chocolate. So it looks great. It smells really nice. It is fridge cold, so let's find out what it tastes like. Cheers. That's nice. It's got a medium to medium heavy body on it. Carbonation is quite apparent, but not over the top. Silky smooth in the mouth. And yeah, as for the flavours, the Fuggles hops are right there. They are doing their thing, providing a bit of bitterness, and there is an element, like I said, of something fruity coming along. The malts are wickedly delicious. You've got lovely, lovely sweetness in the background. You've got a little bit of bitterness. You've got the chocolate coming through. There is that almost earthiness to it as well. That cocoa-like chocolate edge is really prominent on the beer as well. Really quite nice. That is Moorish. It's exactly how I would describe that. The finish on it is quite short-lived, but sweet. So chocolate again and the malts. They are the bits that are doing the most work on the back end. And as that chocolate fades, it leaves a slightly dry feeling in the mouth. And you get that kind of dusting of cocoa flavour. Really quite nice. And there's no sign of the 4.8% at all. When I first went in for a whiff, I thought I could get some of it on the nose, a little bit of the booze, but it doesn't really translate. It's really easy to drink, really smooth, and yeah, delicious. I'm enjoying that. Bit too much. So before we go headlong and finish all of it, we're going to go and give it some points. But before we give it my points, we're going to go to the Aid Memoir of Untapped, which says there has been a healthy 11,800 check-ins to Saltaire's Triple Choc, and 3.77 of an average score. It's not a bad average score, really, especially given the number of check-ins. I think, though, it might be smidgen low. Just a smidgen. So my scoreboard of joy is currently empty. We're going to give it the usual 5 pillars of judgment: the looks, the aroma, the body, the taste, and the finish. Starting with the looks. Now, obviously, I've sipped some of the beer, but it looks exactly like a good stout should. It's jet black with just a little bit of something coming through as you hold it up to the lights. And it, like I say, it's a mahogany colour at the bottom of the glass, just about here where the base of the glass meets the stem. Nothing more. Other than that, it is like the black hole that is probably getting closer to our galaxy as we speak. And yeah, that's great on a stout. The head is nice. You know, there is still plenty of, I say plenty, there's about half a finger of off-white tan head. And it's pretty tight and compact. It looks great. It ticks all the boxes for a stout. Therefore, it gets all the points. It's going to get a full one. The aroma on a triple chocolate stout, I expect chocolate, and I get it. I get that beautiful, bittersweet, cocoa-type chocolate aroma. I get the toasted malts and the hops. Just do their thing. Lovely, adding a little bit of bitterness again. And there's that perfumey fruitiness going on as well. It's kind of in the background, but it's there, and it just adds another little dimension to the whole experience. And I like it a lot. I do. It is a great smelling beer. Can't fault it. I would perhaps just like a little touch more of the malt to come through. The chocolate is quite dominant. But then again, it is a chocolate stout, so I'm not going to be overly critical. I would just like a little bit more of the roasted malt. So I'm going to give it the 0.75. The body on a good stout should be, well, in my opinion, and my preference, should I say, should be quite heavy. This one is medium heavy. It could do with just a little bit more oomph to it. Now, I've purposely had it fridge cold because I find when it's fridge cold, it tightens up just a little bit and brings a little bit of viscosity to a beer. So you never know. It might open up. It might relax when you warm it up a bit. It's by no means poor. It's good. It is good. I would just like a little bit more body to it. So I'm going to give it the 0.75 also. And props for the carbonation as well. It's just enough to let it go all around the mouth and just excite you and let those flavours burst without being overkill. So yeah, it's good. And the taste, we're coming to the most important bit. It's a triple choc stout. It delivers on the chocolate in spades. The malts are really pleasant. You know, you've got a sweetness to them. There is that chocolate malt coming through. There's a nice earthiness that I referred to earlier as well. It works nicely. It balances out that sweetness of the overall beer. Yeah, it's nice. And the hops are important for me, and they are obvious in this beer. And it's nice because they don't often sit towards the front of a stout, and it's nice to get one. I can't fault the taste. I'm going to give it the full point. And the finish. On a stout, I like lots and lots of roasted malt on the back end. In a chocolate stout, I still want that. I just want the chocolate as well. I get the chocolate, but I don't get masses of roasted malt. I do get some of that berry-like notes coming through on the back end as well. And that gives most of the sweetness from the beer, in my opinion. And it works nicely with the chocolate, do not get me wrong. I would sincerely love lots more roasted malts. I would love to see what an imperial version of this beer would be like. Because it's just the back end that needs the most work for me to fit my personal tastes. You know, a bit more roasted malt and it would be fantastic. So I am going to give it. I'm going to give it the half, and that, you know, it's still good. Half is good. It's just not the strongest aspect of this beer, which means to my scoreboard of joy, there is a total of 4 points today, which, let's be honest, it's a decent beer. It's, as I thought, it would be slightly higher than the 3.77 average. Before we go away, we're just going to talk about the label, because I said I would. It looks like purple planks of wood. I like purple. I like planks of wood. I like it. It's simple. It's to the point. It stands out on the shelf. You know that that's a Saltair beer when you look at the label. So it's effective and it works. So there we go. And on that note, ladies and gents, boys and girls, before I dangerously waffle you into submission on this Sunday evening, I'm going to say that's been the beer. I've been Nick. Those down there are the buttons. You know exactly what to do with them by now. And I will see you again soon for another video. Bye.